So this new novel titled Geisai, Literary Art Festival by the contemporary artist Makoto Aida is a really interesting read. This is just out, and I've finished reading it just now. And you know, Makoto Aida is a internationally renowned contemporary artist and who is known for his really unique expressions of touching upon political, social, and gender issues. And his style is characterized, I think, by his really acute sense of humor and really critical intelligence. So I think Makoto Aida is a really unique artist in contemporary art scene in Japan. And in this retrospective novel, which is kind of an autobiography, I think, describes his period of preparatory student who is trying to get into Geisai, the Tokyo Geisai Daigaku, Tokyo University of Fine Arts and Music, which is notoriously difficult to get into. Makoto Aida finally got into Tokyo Geisai, but he had to go through an entrance exam in which hoping only 1 in 36 applicants would pass the exam, and in which in this exam the applicants should compete to complete work of art within the given time, and this is a typically Japanese entrance exam hell, I think, but which might be open to criticism in today's world, but it is the given fact of the Japanese art world. So every artist who has been to an art school in Japan have gone through this ordeal. So the Makoto Aida's novel touches upon that, and also it's a really interesting portrayal of the really unique individuals that are drawn into the world of contemporary art. As you might suspect, Japan is not such a country where we can boast about how individualistic freedom are expressed within the society. As you know, the Japan society at large is characterized by conformity, peer pressure, and when you have your own unique individuality, probably you have to hide it to be a salaryman and so on. But not so in this world of art universities. Here people have a ticket in their hands. I mean, they want to become a great artist like Van Gogh. Of course, most of them do not end up being a great artist. They actually struggle to be an artist. I mean, to be a recognized artist, and so it's probably an empty dream, but it's a big dream, and it's such a fascinating read to get to know these individualistic voices. I mean, it's such a critical comment, I think, on Japanese society as a whole, because the Japanese society itself is not a place where your individual voices could be heard so easily. But here in this wonderful novel, Geisai, these people with their own views and own ideas about what art should be is heard and described, which I think is very wonderful, and it is in the end very rewarding, because I think this novel is about the rejuvenation process of a young artist to be, because he had to go through many difficulties, and he had to actually redefine his painting style in order to pass the exam. But of course, he doesn't, idealize, revere the entrance exam process itself, because he knows that it's just for practical purposes. His dream is to become an artist like Van Gogh, but in order to do that, he probably have to has to go into the art university, preferably Tokyo Geisai, Tokyo University of Fine Arts and Music. And in order to do that, he had to go through this practicality. So it reads like probably not exactly, but somehow reads like Hermann Hesse novel of rituals of passage, and here you see a really wide spectrum of really unique characters, and the details of making art in this particular context of Japanese art university is described in such detail that you feel as if you have been on this journey yourself. Of course, this is an autobiographical novel, so it's a Makoto Aida's journey, but you feel as if you have been living this particular life yourself. So that's, I think, a great hallmark of any great novel. I mean, you feel as if you have lived through somebody else's life. Actually, I taught at Tokyo Geisai, Tokyo University of Fine Arts and Music, for 6 years myself, and I did write a novel based on that, Tokyo Geisai Monogatari, Tokyo Geisai story. And for me, that novel was written from the eyes of passerby, because I was not an art student myself, although I did go to an art school for kids when I was young, and I did do some oil paintings, but not seriously to enter the art university. So when I taught at Tokyo Geisai, I was just a bystander, I think, and I did observe the really individualistic struggles of these art students. But here you have an insider's view, which is really wonderful and rewarding. And this novel makes us think of many important issues about the status quo of the contemporary art world, and also the fate of artists in this difficult time. I mean, because art is about struggle, and art is about trying to find your individual voice, often with difficulty and often with calamity. But that's the name of the game in this wonderful novel. So anybody who can read Japanese, I heartily recommend this new novel from Makoto Aida, titled Geisai, and published from the great publishing house Bungei Shunju. Read it.